All right, so Reverend Sirs and Upasaka Upasikas and friends, anyway, good afternoon. This is our third day's talk, on this retreat, the 8 days Force of Light Abiding Meditation Retreat. Okay, and I think today maybe just maybe give you some introductory of the samadhi. What is meant by the samadhi? It looks like people seemingly maybe could be some people know very well. Some they get a little confused about that. Okay. And then also, of course, beside to introduce what it is, what samadhi mean, and then also give you some some ideas about what does so-called the loving kindness samadhi is about. What does the so-called the compassion samadhi is about? Maybe maybe help you for your meditation, and maybe even will help you for your further meditation too. Okay. In traditions, when we practice, so the word practice means the cultivation, or I just mentioned the last time, the first talk that's called the marriage, right? So you might be do the marriage by you might begin marriage or do something good. What is the good? Will help you a very good life, and then it might be because you are very generous persons. Okay, that including you spend your time for others, and also including maybe you are not very stingy, but you will share whatever you have to others. Okay, but then that's also have a different kind of levels. Some people have a very advanced levels, mean they don't mind, they can give out everything, but some they give up something that only they have spare. Okay, and in any way, those are still is a generosity. Even within that topic of generosity in Buddhism, it is really I think it's very vast topic too. Now, for example, it's believed that when they have a great compassion, it's not just a name. The great compassion is so great, and with a lot of understanding or with a lot of huge or deep wisdom, and then they can even give up their body for others. I mean, if you're really somebody desperate, and then they want the flesh from you, and you just cut it off. I mean, that's how at least the story is about. Okay. So in other words, you can understand when you even talk about the topic of generosity, it has so many levels of generosity too. But whatever kind of generosity, so it's also a way to build up a good thing for you. Or you could say, usually that's what the language people like to say, mean the good karma. But actually, the proper language should be you have cultivate good marriage. Okay. And then the second is that I just say that also, so that because of people become virtue. And also there are so many levels, and some even in the very highest level, the virtue is directly connected to somebody who are fully enlightened. They are actually, to the Buddhist understanding, they are the only one who are really have the complete or the perfect virtue. So otherwise, there are also many different type of levels of virtue. Okay, even that also have a connection to the generosity too. When the people are really deeply have highly virtue, they themselves is not important. The other people can be more important. Okay, all right. So, what about the practice now? So, the practice, what we call the bhavana or meditation, then the same thing. So when you start to say about this meditation, and then they also have many different, you could say a deep level of meditation or a foundation of the meditation, right? In the same way. Then when you usually when you start to understand the meditation or the practice, so maybe the term called practice. So I need to repeat again, like last time I said. So the practice involve many kind of practice. or many kind of meditation. And among these many type of meditation, to practice the four sublime abiding is the most powerful, especially when you mention this practice with regard to the merit. Okay, maybe people don't understand the merit, then understand like a karma, meaning with regard to the karma, maybe. But I don't, actually it's a wrong way to say with regard to karma. But I mean, just for your understanding only, we use the term karma, it's not a good term, because karma doesn't mean merit. So, okay. Now, and then in this practice meditation, when we say meditation or practice, then they involve two kind of things. Okay. One is that practice for the mundane. This is a traditional language, or you could say for the normal life. And for someone are not thinking about beyond this normal life, that and then become the Buddha or Arahant. So with the term we call the mundane, and then the practice for the beyond the mundane. That's why we call it supramundane. Okay. Now, when we say the practice for the mundane, and then we refer to the meditations that will help you to gain samadhi. This is the samadhi. And then there are many also methods, even though I need to emphasize again, among all these methods, the Brahma Vihara, I mean the four sublime abiding, are the utmost powerful. But especially for the merit again, okay? And but they also, other methods, including the four sublime abiding method, will help you to develop samadhi. The word samadhi, or maybe usually we translate in English as concentration, okay? But I mean, literally translation would be like something of God that refer to the mind. Maybe you could say flow to one direction. Maybe you could somehow understand it that way. But generally in English, just say concentration. But as a method, you might come across a term. In English we say concentration, okay? Or the focused method is more loose language and more people easily get it, the sense of it. Okay, focus method. That's what we call a samatha. And the other, some other translation, they usually call it as calm abiding, right? Have you heard about that? Calm abiding, right? So, if samadhi, if we translate as a state, as a concentration, it denotes, when we translate as a concentration, which denotes as a state of mind, okay? That this state of mind, okay, a state of mind, let me let it there. Okay, a state of mind, he have a kind of quality there, the state of mind. The quality is always, the main quality of this samadhi is that without distraction, okay? And then this kind of without distraction in Buddhist practice also, I don't know whether you can follow up, because again and again, piled up a lot of things. Now, it's this kind of distraction, without distraction, also have different level of without distraction kind of state of mind, okay? Hello. Okay. Say, I can hear you, right, for example. And it also sounds like you don't have distraction, right? When you've been distracted, or when your mind was occupied by something else, even you talk to that person and the person will not hear you, right? For example, or one easy to say is, when I sit here, it's very noisy, right? And then you talk to me, I can hear. Your volume is always the same, didn't change. But because of the noise, and my mind, my ear hearing something and being distracted, my mind, that's why, anyway, I cannot hear you, right? And then I can be distracted actually in a more subtle way, or you can explain in this also, is because my mind is fully occupied, right? You might have facing this same thing, like, when you're sitting and then somebody talk to you, they think it's very important. This is about the decision, which stock market we need to buy, okay? But normally you are very interested because you have invested more than $20,000 there, okay? Say, you're normally interested. At that moment, your mind was fully occupied because why? You've been dumped by your wife, okay? So your partner say, this is important, this is about $200,000, or $20,000, nothing, $200,000 or $200 million, but your mind is occupied, right? So even though you're supposed to be here having a conversation without distraction, but you've been distracted. So, okay, you've been occupied basically with the other object. In that you can say you've been, because you're supposed to do this, but you didn't, but you do other thing, right? All right, so it's occupied with other thing, so that's why we call distraction. Now what about, actually now it is a time that you meet a psychologist, and then the psychologist asks you, because why you want to meet psychologist, because you had depression. And then the psychologist asks you to describe what happened with you. Okay, if your mind was fully occupied about something, and then you can relate to what happening in your mind. For example, I've been dumped by the wife, and so, right? So do you call that a distraction? No. Okay. But, I mean, in the normal language. But at that time, if they ask you, what happened with your wife, you're so depressed, but your problem is actually about being dumb, right? But then if your mind fully occupied by which stock market you should buy, right? But then you are distracted by, by the idea of about the stock market stuff. Sound like distraction is also conditioning, okay? It is conditioning. Anyway, all right, now that is also a language called distraction. But now the samadhi in Buddhism is not just distraction. As you think, no, my mind is thinking this now. I'm not thinking that. It's more than that. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Here the distraction in samadhi is relating a quality of mind had something would not associate with it. Okay, if those things are associated with that kind of quality of mind, then this mind would not be called, this quality of mind would not be, or this state of mind would not be called as samadhi. Okay, that's how the Buddhism define or understand, I would say, for practical reason too, the samadhi. Now what are these? Yesterday we mentioned also. So, and this thing that would not associate what we call the 5 hindrances. This is just a general term for the 5, but it can be more than that, right? It can be more than that. So, but of course, it can be more than that. For example, something which will, actually we say some mental quality. If some mental quality, it could be more than that. For example, like when you have, let me see, okay, according to Buddhism, when you have this like crook mind, okay, when the crook mind is there, so when the crook mind associate with this quality of mind, and then also samadhi would not, you cannot call that as a samadhi too, okay. So, okay, let me define again. So what is samadhi? It means that when you can say that when your mind can, no, this is not yeah. When your mind has a correct object, which is wholesome, okay. It's a general definition, but in a deeper generation, when your mind have the correct object, which is wholesome, and out of the 5 hindrances, is a samadhi. Okay.
Without the 5.
Without.
So
did I say with?
Said,
sorry. Without. Yeah.
One is undistracted quality, right? No 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances are off. No, and then no association, right? That's related to the 5 hindrances.
No association to the 5 hindrances.
Right. So
yeah, and but then that's why this is also give you an idea. The word distraction is not satisfactory too. Okay. Okay. All right. I usually think Buddhism have the definition is very, very precise. Okay. Okay. Anyway. Okay. When you practice the loving kindness, there's a question here. Can you develop samadhi? Can you have this kind of mind arise? Okay. Or can you give rise to this samadhi? This is what I just mentioned. Or when you have compassion, can compassion give rise to this samadhi? So, and then when you practice hatred, can hatred give rise to samadhi? Okay, so, and this is a thing. But there's so many people use loosely, okay? Yeah, of course, because, anyway, I'm not basically. Now, back to the Buddhist tradition, maybe easier. So, of course, to Buddhism, I'm talking not theory only, for practice. This is what you're doing here. If it's only theory, this is not the meditation class, this will be the other thing. So, and so in theory, so when you practice loving kindness, because this kind of loving kindness, the kind, nice mind, and has to let this kind of mind arise, you must able to have always the mind has an object. You must have the correct object, okay? So, and this correct object is the person, okay? Or people or beings. And with this correct object, if you can make your mind, this is a little different, if you can, you could say manipulate or how to say, formulate a mind to the person. I think that is with the good wish. Okay, maybe but best to say that. So generally, it means you with a good wish, and that kind of good wish is something always actually is not from outside. It is also one of the quality of the mind, and if you because by having the good wish and this loving kindness will appear, okay? In other words, mean it will appear. And when this kind of good quality of mind appear, and you able to let this kind of good quality mind flow, all the way, or in basic mean continuously, without any, without associate, maybe say, or without associate with what we say the five hindrances, and then you have a samadhi, and this samadhi is called the loving kindness samadhi. The same thing, if you able to meditate, if you're able to allow your mind to have the right object that will give rise to the compassion, okay? And when the compassion mind, you can let this compassion mind to flow in one direction without associate the five hindrances, and then the samadhi of the compassion will be, then you will develop or establish the compassion samadhi, okay? Right. So that's why we always say the Buddha is the doctor of the mind, okay? So we have the term for that. And when this kind of the five hindrances, when being in the way, dissociate, say, from with the mind, or the mind has put away the five hindrances. So maybe strict sense, actually, that means somebody have the mind state called the dhyana or jhana. Sometimes in English translate as, ecstasy. And this kind of mind, we have a very specific quality. And this kind of specific quality included five things. I know it's very hard. Let me finish this, and I'm going to make it easier later. So the five things mean you will have the focused, you're aware there's a focus there, and then you also have this examine there, examine something, and then you feel this joy there, and you feel this happiness there, and also you feel the mind can be, or you could say focus on one direction, go one direction, okay? Okay, all right. That's normal people don't experience, unless you have to particularly practice, okay, and understand the nature of mind, understand what, is very Taoist way of saying, actually it's Buddhist way too, the way, the method. And then if you're able to put that aside, when you have the way, and then even it's a way that how to put all the five hindrances aside, then your mind will be uplifted to that kind of state. It's called like the dhyana, jhana, okay? And before, okay, let me, and if you, again, are able to abandon the kind of two other thing, that's what we call the jhana factor. So the sometimes I don't want to change translation now. My translation might be not very good, but the focused, the knowing object, and then the second is the examine mind. If you can know how to abandon these two, then your mind again uplifted to a second jhana or dhyana. Okay, in Chinese 叫做二禅嘛, or 二禅定. Again, if you can, after when you have this experience, and you can learn how to abandon one more, that is that is the joy, right? And then you will experience happy, and then also one-pointness, we call. And if you can enter, if you can know how to abandon the happiness, but then what will remain, just only one thing remain. That's called one-pointness remain there, right? So, and then you are enter the fourth jhana. So, up to this stage, we might come to a little understanding. In order to have a stronger and a powerful concentration, it seems like, it seems it requires firstly that you have to be able to let your mind stay in a state, you can let that kind of state keep on going, right? Do you know? That's one thing. Second, and it also seems, it's seemingly that when you want to go further, something had to be abandoned also, right? But maybe you just don't know what, but at least something had to abandon. What? So in language, say the 5 hindrances had to be abandoned. Okay, so you have another kind of samadhi. Then it seems like, again, you need to abandon something to go even, again, more advanced, more deeper samadhi. So I think that's how you, so far I feel, if you're not familiar with this kind of scheme, and then that you know. Samadhi is like the mind not shaking, kind of like that. And then you had an object, that object has to be good. Not only that, and then you are able to let your mind to stay with the object, looks like not changing the mind quality, right? Do I have any question now? No, with that, okay. And then if you want to be better, this is samadhi in Buddhism. And if you want to be better, again, so something had to be removed. So-called the strong samadhi, and there's something removed. That's what we call the 5 hindrances. Even though you remove in a very better samadhi, and then again something had to remove to be even better, okay? And something removed to be even better. Something removed even to even better, like that. So, so from here, I just want you to understand. Actually, that's why I say, and I agree totally. I don't think you can find any religion or whatever to talk this kind of thing. 2,500 years ago, but only in Buddhism. Okay. Nowadays, psychology, I'm sure they maybe talk something else, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right. This samadhi, we have many names. Okay. We have name for that. So let's say if you remove, if you stay a little, when your mind can stay with the object for a long time and feel like there's a kind of almost like a power there, and stable, no agitation, not too much of all this kind of thing, strangely, and then for the practice sake, and then something appear. Okay. What is appear? The light. Okay. And but this kind of light, Buddhism talk a lot of different type of light. But this kind of light, or you could say, when I say the light here, it means something clear, maybe easy to say that. And something being removed, that is like the darkness being removed, okay? Now, for the time, maybe I say this. When you practice compassion, there's so many questions about compassion today, but my mind was like, have to jump here and then jump there and jump this, and so my samadhi is completely lost. Okay. So, 那个 Chinese You see, the samadhi is not there, for sure. So if that compassion mind can let it, that compassion mind stay and without interference, especially in a kind of intensive force there, right? Kind of like intensive forces there. So, and then your samadhi will be slowly build up to the point, even though the 5 hindrances still maybe like occasionally still come in and go, but you still can feel the light, okay? Maybe another simile is like, if you take the mind like the pulp, how to pronounce the word, pulp? Light, you know, what do you call it? Light bulb, because it's very difficult to pronounce this word. The light bee, right? Light bulb. It's okay. And before the bright light comes, say that you are able to control this kind of the power. So, and then the light will be like, now, you know, now the technology is very advanced, you know. I still remember in old days we use a bulb. When you open the light, it always start with the, what do you call, forgot all this time now. There's a,
Filament.
Filament? You said no. Thorn, what, I forgot. Anyway, so you know, and then it become lighter, right? Okay. So, and like that. So if you say that you are successful, let your mind to be like, and then and then something kind of like this, let me remove, and then you'll be tuk, the light is there, okay? So, and that's the reason.
Stable light, right? Very clear, stable.
Yeah. So that's why we say when you are meditate and when you are doing compassion meditation, and this is called the way, the method, the way. The way is that let it flow, let it object here, and then you will start it all again. Okay. You might not sometimes pay attention, but somehow you know different. Before, you know, but now, so you're quite alert and is going on. But if it's successful, that's depend on person. Some people are really just quickly there. Some people will be right. So if you just like can really quickly, yeah, some they are there. So some they about that. So they might ask me, so why I always and what, and then I will say, oh, you should do this and that, so that, and it will become more. Then you find, oh yeah, it looks like they go along and you no. So there's something. That's why actually this what we are almost like this is what the people are discussing about, or while you're meditating, practicing this. So if you make it that like and then remove the fighting, and then the fighting will go. Okay, or actually there's no, the fighting cannot go yet, but just only come, okay, so we have the term for that. This is what we call, this I like to define is like what we call this upachara samadhi, okay. It means there's the access concentration, okay, in English. And then that access concentration is almost like, it's not the most, not the, you could say not the fully one, but the kind of like, let's say, imagine the light should be white, okay? But this is a little yellowish white, you know what I'm saying? That's enough. The yellowish white is wonderful, okay? Because you know that sometimes yellowy white helps you to look more, something clearer than only white. You know what I'm saying? Am I right? Let's say it's a bluish white. So, you know, some people want to check the money is a fake or not. They use this kind of light to have a bluish white, right? Get it now? So, is it called bluish white? Is it, ultraviolet, okay. But I imagine it's like a bluish white, okay, like a blue color kind of thing, okay. So, now take that bluish white as a kind of samadhi called the, what they call access concentration. It's very important because this bluish white will help you to check, is this counterfeit money? Somebody, did they write anything and erase already, but it's still there, right? But if it only the very white color, it doesn't say it. Very hard, right? So this bluish white, so that's what we call, the name called asset concentration. So it's a very good place to investigate the Dharma, okay? This is, I'm saying this is not for the, what do you call, not for the, so English mean, I'm saying this for, whatever I'm talking is a general term, okay? I'm not going to talk about any specific irregular case, okay? But you know very well, even for this, I guess, the white, like, somehow if you're very sharp, you still can see it might be. I don't know, I'm no scientist for that, okay? I just say in general, okay? Right, so this, but however, the bluish white, not necessarily sometimes enough. Some people say it is enough, okay? This is why some people say that's enough for you to investigate the Dharma. In others, mean that's enough for you to practice insight meditation. Okay, but some say not enough, or not because not enough. There are many other reasons. Some say you should go further. This is not my discussion here too. I'm not interested in these people debate because you like that, why not? You don't like that, why not? It's not my business. So it's not. So, but that doesn't mean stop you to see what they are. Okay, this is my only thing. Okay, I'm not interested. People believe in this, believe in that. So, okay. Now, so when you want to go further, become the white color. Say, when I say white here, means the so-called bright, stable. You have to remove the 5 hindrances. Okay. So maybe say this way, and then you are in the like the first jhana. Okay, that means like a white light. Interesting. When you are in, this is what we call anzhiding in Chinese. Okay, it's called absorption. Usually translated in English, absorption. ASORPTION. So in the absorption, so the absorption can be the first jhana, the second jhana, the third jhana, and I said that already. When you're in the first, the second, you still have to remove again, remove this again, remove that again. But when you're in absorption, you are back to, you can, that you know, the bulb, like the light, you still can back, with the absorption, you can still can be back to the, what I just say, the bluish, like a blue color white, okay? You can back to there. But the difference is that when you, again, if you go to this absorption and back this blue again, what happened? It's carry with the blue, say, but it's a more bright blue, okay? All right? And this is all what I'm talking is samadhi. We have different names for that. They might serve different function. Okay, they might serve different function. And some people practice this to go inside the more white and come back to the more, become more bluish white. Okay. But if you, for the sake of language and interested, so when you come back from the bluish white, when you come back from the white, that means the absorption into the bluish white again, which is what we call upajjhara samadhi, or the asset concentration in English. That time, in the Buddhist understanding, you don't call as the asset concentration, you also call that samadhi as the absorption samadhi. Okay. It means because you see in quality, because the light is not just simply blue, just a bluish, just blue light, but it's more bright blue light. Okay. Okay. Now, when we practice a compassion meditation, in same way. So, firstly, we hope to have this kind of unshakable mind. Sorry, this is all right. Since I use the language, because unshakable have many other meanings also, so that's why. So that's a problem for language. That means your mind is not distracted, okay? And then you become even though sometimes like that, but you can maintain the kind of state, but you still see the thing, right? And this is to Buddhism is the most basic foundation you have to practice. Okay. Without this, like if you switch all the light off, this kind of light is almost like just like the color, actually very similar to what I said, like that. It might be sometimes a little waving, but so with this, only you can see the thing. Okay, when you don't have this kind of samadhi, things sharp. So that doesn't mean you don't see things at all. You have to take long time to touch and feel. Okay. That's why Buddhism say you must have the virtue and that you must have the samadhi. If you don't have the samadhi, you will not have the wisdom. Okay? Okay, the virtue I don't need to introduce now. So, in other words, I mean, when this light is not there, you always just, okay, you don't see the thing. Okay. All right, so maybe it doesn't sound very attractive because what you want is when you do compassion meditation and when you're done your compassion samadhi, that means the light is there, compassion light. This bout called compassion bout, you know, and then with that kind of removing thing and then become compassion bout, the light, you know, and then actually. Just only light, nothing. So, but do not forget, without this compassion, the light, you are highly, I won't say completely, but highly live in confusion. So only when the light is there, it doesn't mean all the time, but at least when the light is there, that means the samadhi is there, you are much more better in controlling the thing, right? Even though, as I just said that, it doesn't mean when you have this samadhi light, like you totally also understand what it is, but at least you know the shape, right? You will not mistaken like, you know, that's the famous story about the elephant, right? Somebody touched the trunk, they say elephant look like a tree, touch the body, look like a wall, right? Like that. No, you know it's an elephant. But you might not really totally understand what is elephant, but you know elephant is like that. Okay? And, but that's how you begin to study what is elephant. Okay. All right. This is a general understanding of what is samadhi. All right. But the interesting part it is actually to have the samadhi not just because you practice compassion, not just because you practice loving kindness. You can practice like color. You can practice the breath, meditation on the breath. Even you can practice actually observing the space. I mean, like a whole space, and so and so. Okay, you can practice different things, or the skeleton. Okay, you can practice the fire, water. You can get the same thing. Interesting, but we are doing here for the compassion, and this is they have their own uniqueness there. Because if you practice the other method to have samadhi, and the light is the same, you could say, but there's something, you know, the mind is different. Because the compassion mind, that which produces samadhi, will help you to associate to people. Okay. But if you just practice like say the breath, or you just practice if you especially, let's say, the color or what, it doesn't associate with other people. Right? So, but this will associate with other people. And this association with the other people will help you to solve lots of problems. Why? Because mostly we don't have a problem of the color, right? Do you? Yeah, I'm saying you won't. Very few people have this color phobia, right? The red color phobia. That's right. Actually, I think the color phobia even comes from with the people also. Anyway, very few. But most of us, we have human phobia, right? Don't tell me you don't have. Imagine there was a person going to murder you. You know he's going to have a knife and gun. I have to keep you just, let's say that is a terrorist, what we call. You know what I mean? So somebody really, okay, say that he's really a murderer. And then I ask you to just stand face to face with the murderer, and he has a gun. I won't believe that you won't have phobia. You definitely have phobia. So, okay. So I'm saying this, but the compassion is interesting, is that because it's make connection to the people, so, and we know that samadhi will help you to see things clearly, right? So, and then this kind of through this compassion that will gain the samadhi, or so-called the compassion samadhi, will help you to solve, because you see things clearly, it will help you to solve the human relationship problem. It's not just simply you make a connection to them, okay? But it's not like the other samadhi. Yes?
You can get into the samadhi by different methods, but then on top of that, you start to practice compassion.
Yeah, you can.
And so that you can enter this compassion samadhi. So now you can use like anapana, you get to samadhi, then you practice compassion. So that is still called the compassion samadhi.
Yeah, there's no question about that. There's no question at all. Actually, if that's a question, it's only the question is, the question is, if I begin to practice compassion, right? And why I have to begin with the practice compassion, but why I can choose to practice some other thing first, to have samadhi, like you say, right? But that's only this kind of question. But this is, again, we're back to my understanding. Because if you practice this compassion first to have samadhi, it helps you to practice the other samadhi much easier, especially much easier in at one stage, okay? And this one thing. Second, if you start to practice this compassion to gain samadhi, right? It directly helps you actually right away to solve lots of relationship problem already. But imagine that if a person have to pick up, to find the time to practice, say that I have only a year, said whole life when you get it together, just a year. Yeah, just for statistics study, a year. And then he might take, say, almost a year to practice other, okay? But so in his whole life, so it might be just doesn't solve many relationship problem. Okay, yeah.
In any samadhi, in any practice, you always try to do the compassion first, and gladden your mind is always helpful. For example, even for anapana practice, if you gladden, does that consider just in the beginning? To try some compassion in meditation, then you get into samadhi. Does that consider that as a samadhi, compassion samadhi, or not? Is that qualified?
Okay, I think the question is maybe here is if the light, maybe say this way, if the samadhi or if the light has the quality of compassion, that is compassion samadhi.
Even though you start to do that just very briefly, I mean, you do the compassion just a little bit, then because of your prior experience, you get to the samadhi, I mean, with a little bit of this compassion at front. So will that also be a compassion samadhi?
No, that's why the answer is always is the samadhi. When you establish a samadhi, and then you still can check there's a quality of some. No, when you have a samadhi, and you can check the quality that in the samadhi there's a quality of the compassion. So there's a compassion. Then it's a compassion samadhi, right? But of course, in general, we understand that if you do not, there's almost like there's no way you don't practice any being in order to arise the compassion, and the compassion would not be there. So
you do have to practice that so that at least you know what do you mean by compassion mind.
Okay, yeah.
And then you will be able to check, say, there's a quality of compassion.
Yes, yeah. Okay, anyway, so when you have this compassion samadhi, so this is what this is. Anyway, that's what I want to say is that I think you maybe have a better understanding what is a samadhi now, right? And why we have to practice the samadhi. And it doesn't really sound attractive if you really like a preaching in the church. If you say that, so what? You know, I sometimes feel nice. I maybe even feel light too. You know. So that's why, in order to understand this, to appreciate this, it's not easy. But I have to say, for you guys who hear, if I'm just talking on the street and telling people have this light, so what? You know, I have a bulb. You know.
You can transfer.
Yeah, really, I know. Believe me, I think even when I just start to study Buddhism or what, if you tell me that, I would think, maybe I think there's something wrong. You know, no. So, but you guys here is different, because when you do meditation, you somehow knew there's something changing. And when that changing also, of course, in a normal phenomena, you know your mind become much stable, you feel lighter, the heart lighter, and then also even including your body too. And then you feel more alert. Even though you're tired, it's still different. There's a kind of alertness, a spirit there, right? And then this is a powerful the Buddha, and it teaches how you can let this spirit, when it lost, how you regain it, okay? And then also when this kind of spirit, when it's lost, how you can even not only regain it, you can also enhance it. Now, not only that, not only just can enhance it, you also can, with this spirit, how you make use of it, okay? And this make use of it, including right now in your life, okay? And then it's also build up a good merit. And it's always give you, mostly, even though not 100%, but mostly give you good thing than the bad thing. Okay? What more you want to ask? Something more. Okay? And now, if you go to church, okay, that's my interest. And this is the assurance. This kind of samadhi is the assurance you will go to heaven. So that's why we call karma. It's based on the karma, that where you were born. Okay. And this kind of assurance, not because you believe I said, okay. It is you can see it now, right? And you can also not just see it now, you can also destroy it. If you don't want, let me have many problems, it will just go, right? And you can learn how to cherish it. Oh, no, no, no. When it's there, it's always nice for my life, good for my life. And especially if you learn a method with the how to have this kind of light or samadhi in a systematical way, and then you, even though might be been abandoned it, but you always know how to get it back, okay? Right? So you are the scientist now. If you take that's called scientist, I mean you can invent the bulb, okay? Yeah, right. If you say about in religion, they are of course Buddhism not denying the other religion can make the bulb. Sometimes we don't deny that because whoever able to go to, so in religious perspective to go to heavens, they certainly has a bulb there. But if there's a difference, okay, is they don't know how to make it. It just come, right? But Buddhism is very clearly tell you how you make it. Of course, and the other religion, what we believe do not have, is not only just tell you how to make it, and also telling you how come you can destroy it. But by understand that, of course, you know how to make it better also. Not only that, you can also how to use it and how to make it even more powerful, right? So this is all in the topic of samadhi. Or you can, if it find this term is strange again, then you can just kind of thinking like this all is the Buddhist topic, talk about the light, okay? All right? So I think today I'm a little tired actually. And I think I will stop here for today, and thank you for your listening and your patience. And I hope to see another lights come up. Tuk. Oh, I understand now. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, have 10 minutes to rest and back here. Thank you. Yeah, okay.